In the United States, public schools have been around since 1635. In 1854, Bell County was divided into 15 school districts. Belton's first school was a log cabin on the north side of Pearl Street. In 1885, Belton had 3 schools and adopted an independent public school system. According to Dr. Betty Conaway, professor of curriculum and instruction at Baylor University, America's school system is the envy of the world.
Our public schools in the United States are the envy of the rest of the world because our public schools are free, they're open to everybody, and we have a commitment to work with all students who show up, regardless of their backgrounds, regardless of their differences, regardless of their specific needs.
Conaway adds that whether we do or don't have children attending public schools, everyone in the community should pay attention to a system that is educating contributing members to our society.
If we did not have public schools, our democracy could not exist as it does today. Democracy requires participation from its citizens, and citizens can only participate if they are at least competent in the basics of literacy and math and social studies and science. And so public schools are absolutely critical to continuing our way of life in the United States, and they represent the very best opportunity to educate children in all communities.
But due to several factors, such as district size, funding, and community involvement, some public schools are standing up and standing out more than others.
Some public schools are better than others, but the good public schools offer opportunities for all students and pay attention to individual students' interest and to their strengths as well as their weaknesses. So there has to be a variety of programs. There has to be a balance between academics and athletics as well as other kinds of extracurricular activities. We want our graduates to be well-rounded individuals.
Kaylee Krennick is one of many well-rounded students attending Belton High School. This senior took advantage of some career and technical education courses, which helped her make some life-changing decisions.
Last year I was in the career shadowing program where I spent about 12 to 15 weeks at the main hospital, Children's Hospital. I got to shadow like so many different doctors, nurses, every different field you could imagine. And what I thought I wanted to do was nothing what I really wanted to. That made all the difference. I probably would be still saying I wanted to be a PA without that program. I'm in pharmacy tech this year. I don't think I want to pursue pharmacy, but it's gotten me to know a lot more of the healthcare professions.
And it helped her in choosing kinesiology and occupational therapy for her higher education after high school. Grant Reed, who was recently honored for being in the top 5% of his class, also signed up for the CTE program and found FFA to be his forte.
There's Mr. Hobbs, Mr. Gartman, Miss Giebert. They just taught me and supported me along the way. And they've taken me to all the different contests and been there with practices and helped me build things. And I think it's been good for me. I've stayed focused through the learning and haven't really gotten totally distracted. And I've stayed kind of on a good path to go to college on.
Tevin Jones, who graduates in June, has focused on advanced placement courses to better prepare him in his studies at the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor. Tevin has also learned a thing or two about being part of a team.
The athletic program, just because I'm so in touch with it, I'd say it's really well run. They keep you on top of your grades. It's not all about football, I guess, and the athletic portion of it. They stay on top of you about and they build your character and just all those things that come along with being in the football program and everything. And so I think that's really great about this school district too, is the extracurricular activities that you can take part in and how to help you become a better person too. So.
Bob Kelton, a '69 graduate of Belton High School, preferred home plate over the goalpost in athletics at public school.
I didn't play football after the 8th grade because baseball was my sport. Coach Brentham was my coach, and he tried to get me to come back out, but I was small, and God didn't bless me with a big body, but he blessed me with a big arm.
Kelton attended T.B. Harris High, an all-black school in Belton. He was transferred to Belton Junior High in 1963 when segregation ended in the district. His class size changed dramatically, which was difficult for this painfully shy student. Fortunately, a teacher brought him out of his shell.
Miss Barnes had a big influence on my life because I was shy and kind of introverted. And she kind of, I remember ducking down, not wanting to be able to recite these poems because I was scared. She taught literature. And to this very day, I can recite a couple of poems that she had us to try to memorize. No man is an island, part of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind. What that basically says to me, that's from a humanitarian standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, all that means is love thy neighbor as thyself. And that's what I get out of that. And that's for you, Miss Barnes. I still remember that now.
The military is what brought Marion Grayson to Belton. This outgoing Army brat jumped headfirst into extracurricular activities, which included being Belton High School's mascot.
I loved all the students in Belton making me feel so welcome, and so in no time I wanted to get involved. So somehow I got TIGO. So 10th grade, I was selected as school mascot TIGO, and I did it my 11th and 12th grade years. And I also wanted to be in the band. But I do not have any musical talent, singing or otherwise. And that summer, Mr. Crane asked me to go home with a saxophone and learn it and come back and try out for the band that summer. And I was so bad at it, he said, how bad did you want to be in the band? And I said, I want to be in the band really bad because, they just got back from doing the Rose Bowl parade and they go on trips. And I was like, I want to be in the band. And he told me, I'll let you be in the band as long as you don't play an instrument. So I became roll checker. It is the marching 100 after all. There's 100 kids to check to see if they're all there. So
Grayson proudly shares that her public schooling helped her become an entrepreneur, serve on the city council, and win the vote for mayor of Belton. She hopes others share her appreciation for public education.
I wish more people appreciated the fact that they're getting a free education. Not free to others because taxpayers pay for the schools to be available to them, and they don't realize the value of the schooling that they're getting and that it is costing somebody something, but it's free to them. So take full advantage of this free gift that you're getting, because how many other things can you get for free that are going to benefit the rest of your life?
Bill Stanford was proud of his free education in Belton Public Schools from first grade until his graduation in 1960.
Once you're a tiger, you're always a tiger, I guess, I hear them say that all the time, but that's the truth.
And this tiger sat on the school board and helped make a difference for future students.
I always felt like the Belton school system was good to me. That gave me a good education, gave me a start in life. And I wanted, in 1980, I decided to run for the school board. I wanted to give back to the community and help, and it was a great experience. One of the greatest accomplishments that I can remember was air conditioning all the schools. That was 1983-84. Prior to that time, there was no air conditioning in the school system. I was also on the board when we built the first school outside the city limits of Belton.
Today, Belton ISD has 15 campuses and over 10,000 students. But even when it was a smaller district, its unfaltering great reputation is what brought Craig Pearson to Belton.
Well, our family moved here. We were originally in Killeen. My dad and mom met and married after World War II out at Fort Hood. We're married in the chapel out there, and we're both working as civil service folks out at Fort Hood, but wanted to, frankly, get to Belton schools is the reason we moved. We were the first family to move out to Morgan's Point and stay in April of 1964.
Pearson, who has served on the Belton City Council for 9 years, also made it a point to be a part of discussions in long-range planning for the growth in Belton schools.
I got to serve several years ago, I guess it's been probably 10 years ago now, on a long-range planning team, and I saw then the attention to detail and the sincerity that went into trying to make the right decisions for our school district to plan for growth. And now I guess we're on the third or fourth iteration that we're kicking off now, and I just think they've done the best possible job with some very difficult circumstances, especially with the funding issues that came from our legislature and some other things. But I think one of the real stars in our crown here in Belton, Texas is our school system, and I think that's one of the big reasons that a lot of folks are moving here.
And Cynthia Hernandez, the executive director for the Belton Economic Development Corporation, is glad to see the growth and says it is a good incentive for business development.
We were recently at a trade show, and it was not uncommon for the individuals that were interested in relocating to Central Texas to ask, tell me about the schools. Do you have a good school system? And that's something that Belton is very proud of. As an economic development corporation, it's a very important tool for us as we're trying to relocate businesses, and as a community it's an important factor. There is a lot of pride in being a Belton Tiger. From the stories that I hear at our Sunday brunch, there's a lot of pride in the 9 and the amenities that are offered at the high school, and just hearing my nieces plan their future.
Stand up for BISD, for the continued investments that need to be made, for the continued cooperation and collaboration between the BISD and the city and our elected officials, all for the good of the kids and for the next generation. For the same reason, continue to stand up for Texas public schools. They're doing a great job and they're making some good changes, and we want to continue to be a part of that as we invest in the next generations.
Stand up for our future. Stand up for Texas public schools. They are growing our future leaders.
Stand up for public schools and stand up for teachers, because teachers and public schools contribute to the success and the happiness of all of our children.
Stand up for the things you enjoy most. Stand up for Texas public schools will bring great opportunities.
Stand up for Texas public schools because they gave me a high-quality education.
Stand up for being yourself and having good character, and stand up for Texas public schools because they have a great education system and they'll prepare you for the next step in life.
Stand up for Belton Public Schools because, as our ex-superintendent, Mr. Pirtle, says, every child's a winner.
Stand up for public schools so that we can give every student the opportunity to be successful in life.
Stand up for all you can be. Stand up for Texas public schools, because you never know, one day you might be mayor.